To be fair, at the time I first met her, I had no idea what a Legbeard was, and the concept was not even made yet. So I'm talking years ago. It's only recently that I have made the connection she was a genuine Legbeard, with all the boxes pretty much checked. Knowing that made the whole new view I had of those years knowing her so much worse. I already posted a Neckbeard story to the Reddit a while back and got a humongous amount of support from it. Thank you all again for that. I mentioned in there that I never before had an encounter with a Neckbeard. That, however, did not include this lady I'm about to speak of. Some background story and roll calling. My name will be trans, as in my previous story, since it worked pretty well and was easily explainable since I am a transgender female to male. Online, it was a lot easier to partake in the role of a male, and nobody would question me. It was my one escape without being afraid of confrontation with my parents. I was 16 at the time. Then you have Big Sis, a nice girl on IMVU that immediately took a liking to me in friendship ways and asked her roleplay IMVU mother if I could become part of the family. Segue in the IMVU mother and all-around Legbeard queen of IMVU. I have to be more obscure about her name since I'm fairly sure she has sons or daughters that scout Reddit from time to time, and obvious nicknames would definitely create quite a shitstorm for me. Or it could make others hunt her down because of this, which I do not want to stand for at all. Witch hunting is not my agenda here. Let's call her Miss Obley, since she was extremely oblivious to her own manipulative ways. We'll go with that. Let's get the story going now. As stated, I was 16 when this all happened, and had finally started to learn I was more comfortable being a male online than a female. Did not know it was called being transgender, and never made it apparent I was actually a female online. Call it catfishing. I completely understand if you see it like that, but it was my way of escape. QN IMVU, a chat simulator where I could have the avatar I wanted, could look how I wanted, and act how I wanted people to perceive me. I felt like I was that much closer to being okay with myself back then. But then came the IMVU family experience. It wasn't all that bad per se. It had good moments, and a lot of the family I was in respected and liked me, simply because I had no filter and I spoke my mind about what I thought was wrong or incorrect. Then came in Miss Obley. I have seen her on cam a couple of times since it was routine for them to ask that their family members on Skype they would have the most contact with you, and they did expect you to be online every day, all of your free time, so you can spend it with your, as she stated, real family that already should have picked up huge red flags. But since I did not have many friends at the time, I had no other hobby to keep me occupied, so I was mostly online, talking and causing the least amount of trouble for them. I was perfect. But back to the topic at hand. She checks all the boxes I have read a Legbeard to possess. She was seriously overweight, to the point of where she could not walk a couple of feet, or she would get extremely winded and had to sit down. She had greasy brown shoulder-length hair, a fat nose, pimples everywhere due to a poor diet, and most likely hardly showered or took a bath, since that size cannot fit in a bath or shower, in my opinion. She cried constantly when things did not go her way, and often blamed it on the people themselves instead of validating she had a problem and doing something about it. She coerced people to do what she wanted by either acting like a small child or guilt-tripping you. Her oblivious nature kicked in on those topics a lot, and also on the person she kept dating. The father figures she brought in were all liars. Most of the family knew this and was very much aware of her blind attitude towards this person. She wanted her prince to sweep her off her feet and just take her away to a magical castle where she does not have to do anything all day but sit online, eat junk, and do nothing. These men were absolute scumbags, and she never knew how badly they really treated her and her family, but if she knew, She did not care. They got angry at us when we were not around enough, angry when we hung around other families, and most of all, they got angry when we did not see them as true parents and had comments on how they did things. They would guilt trip us so hard that we would feel absolutely horrible about ourselves and that we needed them more than we knew. Most of the family of kids she had were below my age. I was one of the oldest ones. One of them recently even ceased contact with me again. She had been explaining to me how the behavior from back had made her extremely depressed and gave her extreme self-doubt. She could not see herself as a person properly on some days, and that really made me very sad. I once had enough and told them they either had to fix it, break up, or would leave the family, which caused her to pipe up and start crying. Now I'm crying. Look what you did. Do you really want this? Is this what you were after? And my poor heart can't take this. Why do you all do this? And why can't you let me be happy? Fine, leave then. Her husband wasn't all that better, taking this as an insult to his authority, and started making threats towards me and my fellow kin, causing an even worse uproar of defiance from us. Your accounts will be hacked. I'll send a word to my friend and he'll hack all of you. I don't want you ever to come back. You hear me? I'd rather die than allow you back in our perfect home. Well, Miss Obley just kept crying and crying. At least she typed that she was crying, which is dubious at best when you think about it. They both were extremely stubborn and would not even hear us out that we did not want to leave. We just wanted to make things better, and that leaving was the ultimatum I was willing to make if things were not taken seriously, because I wanted nothing to do with a poisonous family. She and her husband just kicked me out, which bit her in the ass at the end because most of the family, especially kids, liked me, so they left alongside with me. I have a feeling she never truly forgave me for that one. If you ever have dealt with someone like this, please do talk to me. People like this can truly mess you up, and if you have a similar encounter on Second Life or IMVU, do not hesitate to come forward. I might add some other happenings later on if it actually helps people to detect someone vile and manipulative like this. The stories get quite bizarre after my first encounter, because this isn't the last I ever saw of Obley. But that's maybe for another day. Small roll call to refresh some memories. I am trans. My IMVU sister is named Big Sis. The Queen herself called Miss Obley, and her newest husband, which, surprise, surprise, was the definitive neckbeard himself. We will call him Family Beard, since that was all he talked about and seemed to revere it almost perfect standpoint. If you were not fitting, or you just seemed out of place, he would kick you out or try to reform you with his magical powers and thoughts on today's society, trying to always poke around and blast holes into your opinions with logic. He never tried it with me because I was rather smart and most had my back. I think he saw me as a genuine threat, and therefore did not challenge what he knew he could not win. Weeby, my other smaller IMVU sister, and the poor thing that had most of the burn from years of being pushed down by these two, and a brother who will be named Dragon, since he was a huge fan of DBZ and everything around it. After the first family drama incident, I kept away from most families on IMVU since I did not want to deal with anything like that anymore and wanted to focus more on friendships. Some I still have to this day, so to be fair, IMVU was not much of a cesspool as people always claim it to be. It had its good perks deep within. But lo and behold, Obley once again reached out to me once I was 19, which surprised me because I was sure I had blocked her the moment I left, and this was a genuine shock for me to see her. Creepy, actually, since she had found my Facebook and had me on there, sending me messages how she was wronged and she should have listened to me. How the man she first had been with was not her prince at all and did not treat her with the respect she deserved. It felt a bit convoluted, but I just hoped she had learned from this experience and had grown smarter because of it. Joke's on me, I learned now that these people rarely do. Even the first moment I got back to her, unblocked her, and into a room where most of the new family now was in, she immediately introduced me to her newest husband. I cringed. Obli, hello, Trans. I missed you so much. I am so glad you are back, and now our family is complete again. I want to introduce you to my new husband, Legbeard. Trans. Oh, hi. FB. I heard from Obli that you have Asperger's. Is that true? Trans. Yes. To be fair, this made me slightly uncomfortable since I did not like bringing it up. I always feel like when I do, it's like I'm giving an excuse for acting the way I do or not getting social cues as much as another person. So I always keep it mildly obscure for that same reason. Him bringing that up meant Obli spilled most things I told her in concern, which in turn made me kind of angry. But what Legbeard said after that made me want to nope it out there immediately. FB, you know that's all bullshit, right? Everyone is just shoving you in boxes like they shoved my dear Lady Obli in a box for her being the way she is. You are now part of this family. You should act like the upstanding citizen you are. Everyone else is just beneath you. I kid you not, I could not even make this up if I tried. Such cringe! Obviously, now it makes me think of a Tumblr SJW who claims everyone born male, white, and privileged is trash. Little background note, he was apparently pansexual Filipino and absolutely hung, according to Obli. Let's just say Skype cam does not lie, and that absolute hunk was indeed a big hunk of body mass. But she just was all over him, trying to get everyone to see her point of view, and each day it was the same routine. He's such a good father. I'm sure we'll have so many babies and we'll treat them so much better than all those other parents out there. You all should come live with us once he gets here. Big sis and we'll have to wait though. We don't have enough room yet. Which was just a way for her to show she actually was being kind of jealous. Legbeard was acting according to his namesake, as he had made multiple advances onto my IMVU sisters at times, and it absolutely was disgusting. We liked the family setting and being there for one another, but this was absolutely revolting how he would make advances and then shoot off their self-esteem if they did not go in on it. He did this with many others, and I only know this because they told me and showed me screenshots of the conversations. He never dared doing this when Obli or I was around. It went from, "You have such a nice body. I'm sure you got that from your mother. What I wouldn't give to watch you dance for me." And, "Obli never talks to me like you do. Maybe one day we can have a deeper connection. I could always look into my stones to see your future. I bet it's bright with me." Of course, Obli was not that oblivious, and had walked in on him a couple of times, but instead of working that out on him and give them proper reactions, she worked it out on my sisters, belittling them and threatening to not even go near him in that way. It caused a lot of self-esteem to be broken down, and in the end, I did not recognize them anymore, since they became afraid of everything. Later on, Big Sis just disappeared from IMVU altogether, and it was the worst. Of course, this ended another drama once I realized what was going on, and to divert all of it coming back to me, I went to Dragon. Since he was always there and had a more mellow attitude towards everyone and was actually pretty caring and smart, he unfortunately went to the one person who would not believe us, Obli.